So today we're doing something a little bit different. We are going to be looking at different types of mouse traps that you can use to get rid of your rodent problem if you have one, and some of the pros and cons of each one. Hey everybody, welcome back to One Seed, One World. So I know this isn't the normal gardening thing, but most likely if you are a homesteader, a gardener, or just even living in an apartment, whatever your case may be, you will probably have to deal with mice at one point or another and need a way to get rid of them. Mice, while they can be cute, can also cause all kinds of issues, like probably the least being just making a mess, chewing things up, leaving poop and pee around, those kind of nasty things, getting into your food maybe. More dangerous, I guess, would be one, there's a lot of mice out there that carry the hantavirus, which can be very dangerous if you breathe that stuff in when you're cleaning up their droppings. It can affect your lungs and cause all kinds of issues. Also, mice tend to chew on wires and things like that and can cause house fires, or at the very least a power outage. So in a lot of cases you need to get rid of them. So because I've had an issue this year with mice for whatever reason, I don't know why. Occasionally we get one or two in the house, over the winter. And in most cases I would do a catch and release. Just, catch them and take them far away from the house and let them go. But because this year we've had a lot in our basement crawl space in our attic crawl space, and then in the basement, I've had to take more extreme measures to get rid of them. It's not something that I normally like to do. I don't like to kill things. I'm the kind of guy that will even save spiders in the house and take them outside and let them go. In the past, I've caught many mice and let them go outside as well. But when you are being overrun, you have to get rid of the problem. And, you might not always be able to afford a working man or whoever it is that comes out and gets rid of them for you. So today we're going to go over 3 different types of mouse traps and the pros and cons on each one. So let's start with the old standard, old snap trap that we've been using, probably since, I don't know, the 40s or 50s or whenever these things came out, probably even before that. But they're effective, they work. But let's go over first the pros and then the cons. The pros: they work, they kill quickly, they're a humane option of dispatching a mouse very quickly. You put on your little bit of bait, whether it's peanut butter or cheese or whatever, set the trap, and they get in there and snap, and they are done for. They are also, from a price point, they are very cost effective. They're very cheap. You can get them at the grocery store. Actually, Amazon right now has a pack of 20 of these for $11.99, and so that's pretty economical to pick up a bunch of traps. Cons would be, one, they can be kind of messy. Sometimes when that thing snaps down, there might be some things on the mouse that should be on the inside that are now on the outside, so you got to clean that up. Dealing with the gross mouse, if you want to reuse the trap, then you got to pry it out of there, which is kind of gross. They could be dangerous for your pets or small children. If you have a trap set up somewhere along a wall or something, and your cat, dog, child goes and tries to mess with it and they get snapped, could cause an injury, which is not fun either. And then over time, the springs start to get a little wonky. They don't work as well. Then they can get a lot kind of scary when you're trying to set them up. I know, like, I'll set them up sometimes. I might not get them on quite properly. And then when I go to set it down, it goes off and scares me to death. So there's that too. But, you can reuse them and they are economical. So that's the old standard. Number 2 is the have a heart trap. is what they're kind of, actually, the Have a Heart might be an actual brand name. I'm not sure. There's many different brands of these. But this is a way to catch them live. If you want to do a catch and release, if you don't want to kill anything, I've used these in the past. It has where you set the open door on one side and put your bait on the other side, and then when the mouse walks in to get the bait, they step on a little trigger that then releases the door, and then they're stuck inside. So the good thing about these is they don't kill anything. So that's probably the biggest pro. Also, I would say a pro would be price point. You can get like 2 of these for $11.99, $12.99 on Amazon, and you can continue to reuse these over and over again. And so you'll definitely get your money's worth. Cons would probably be, one, they are a little bit more expensive as a per piece item. For 11, 12 bucks, you can get 20 snap traps, whereas for 11 or 12 bucks, you get 2 of these. So they're, from a per piece, they're a little bit more expensive. The other con might be if you forget about them, they can then become inhumane, where if you've set one of these up and then forgot about it, and then the mouse goes in and gets stuck in there, he slowly starves to death. So that's not a good thing. So you have to, keep up on them. Also, I guess another con would be if you don't like handling live rodents, picking up, something like this with a live mouse running around inside of it might not be quite your deal. So there is that. But, they do work very effectively, and I've used them in the past. I've taken them, where I've caught a live mouse, I take it out, far away from the house to the brush pile on the back of our property, let them go. Sometimes they don't want to leave. I had one time during the winter that I caught, took it out, and he was hanging on the inside like some kind of ninja before I was finally able to shake him out of there. But he didn't want to go out in the cold. He kind of actually liked being in there. So, but that's, your next one. Okay, the final one is the zapper. There's different brands of these as well. This one is actually sized for rats. I call it the rat zapper, although again, I think rat zapper is actually a brand name. I just recently got this one. I have another one already that I've been using, but I wanted to get a second one. So let me get this thing out of the box here. So, as I said, this one here is sized for rats. I don't have rats, but this works for mice or rats. So I went ahead and got this size because an older version I had of a different brand the smaller size seemed to die out sooner. And so I decided to try this one, and it's worked very well for me so far. So the way this works is it is battery powered. This particular one takes 4 C batteries. The way this works is, so on the one side, it has where you can put the bait. I normally will just put a little cheese in there, snap it shut. The mouse or rat then walks in to get it. Once the mouse walks in to here and touches the metal piece on the back to get the bait, there's another metal piece on the bottom that is powered by the batteries when you turn it on, and they get electrocuted. I mean, it zaps them. It's super quick. So, pros of this. Again, it's very easy. It's easy to set up. Bait on one side, mouse walks in, mouse or rat walks in on that side, and it takes care of the problem very quickly. They're easy to use, and they're also not messy. It's a quick zap. It's humane. The rodent is dead. Then you can just take it and shake it into the dead rodent into your you know, out in the woods, into your trash, however you want to dispose of them. I take them out into the woods behind my property and dump them out there, leave them for, you know, local cat or whatever else may eat a dead mouse. And I don't have to worry about them being hurt by eating the dead mouse because they died without poison or anything like that. So that's the pros. They're quick and easy to set up, and they're not messy, easy to clean. Cons would be, one, you have to replace the batteries every so often. I've gotten a lot of, probably a good couple months out of 4C batteries out of this, with getting rid of like 10 or 12 mice before I had to replace the batteries. Because there's a power button on top. When you turn it on, it'll blink green to let you know it's on. If you get a kill, then the light will flash green to let you know that something is in there. But, you know, I need to check them like once a day so that's on a long time. But I got, you know, a lot of use out of the batteries, but you still have to buy batteries, which are expensive as well. Another con is, you know, you wouldn't want to set this outside where it could get wet, like if for a chicken run or something like that. You would have to only use it where there was no moisture, because it is electrical. I mean, it's not going to hurt you or your pets or anything. You're not going to get shocked by it, but it's not made for the elements. And probably the third and final price point, or the third and final con, would be the price point compared to the others. This on Amazon is $31.50. So they are definitely much more expensive, about 3 times more expensive than your other, like the Snap Trap or the Have a Heart Live type trap. However, this has become my favorite, because if I'm not using a Have a Heart to let them go, if I really need to kill off whatever rodents are getting in there, it's quick, it's easy to clean, and really easy to set up. You know, I'm not worried about snapping my fingers or anything like that. I just stick a piece of cheese on, shut it, turn it on, and put it wherever I want it, and go check it the next day and see if I got something in there or not. So they're very easy, but they are, you know, they are definitely more expensive, but they do very well. I've used them over the last couple of years for different ones. This one is the Ultra, and I have found this to be much better than the old brand that I had, which I think was called Rat Zapper. I'm not positive, but for whatever reason, this seems to be much longer lasting than the old one that I had. So, quick summary, final summary is, first thing I wanted to say, I'm not covering things like sticky traps or poison in this video, because I am not a proponent of either of those methods for getting rid of rodents. I find that the sticky traps are inhumane. You know, an animal gets stuck to them, they're freaking out, it takes them a long time to die, or you have to then go and kill them yourself. Which is not something that I relish to do anyway. And poison, you know, if you're feeding poison to your rodents, and then there's a couple issues with that, is they eat the poison, then they leave the area, and maybe a cat eats them, an owl, a hawk, other things before they die, that could then poison, you know, these other animals and cause them to get sick or die. Or another thing is they'll eat the poison and go somewhere in your wall where you can't get them, and then they die, and then you have the smell. And you can't get to them because they're probably in your wall somewhere. You just have this awful dead smell coming out of the wall because you poisoned the rodent. And so I don't use either of those methods for various reasons. I find that preferably I would use the live trap, but if you really need to get rid of them and you have a bunch that you need to get rid of and kill, then the other two methods are quick, humane, and there's, you know, depending on what your price point are and what you want to deal with for a mess cleanup. My recommendation is spend the extra money and get one of these zappers because they're so easy and quick. But if you can't or do not want to spend, you know, 32 bucks for a trap, then, you know, go with the snap trap. So that is pros and cons of mouse traps and my quick review of them. I'll have links below for all these items if you want to check them out and purchase them yourself all off of Amazon with my affiliate link. So that is it. I know that's different than what I normally do here with most of the gardening and build projects, but it's something that I have to deal with, and I know a lot of you have to deal with, and so I wanted to kind of throw out my I guess opinion for what it's worth and show you what the different options are. Some of them maybe some people might not be aware of or hadn't considered before, so I hope you found that information helpful. But whatever's going on in your neck of the woods, I hope it's working out fantastic for you, and I hope that you are rodent free. But thanks for hanging out again with me again today, and we will see you again soon. Namaste.